this is another quick video about forms changes for 2024 and beyond. The first one I want to tell you guys about, it's language that you're going to see in at least 3 places. So I'm just going to talk about the language. I've talked about it once, but I'm going to review it again because you're going to find it in the buyer agency agreement. You're going to find it in the both listing contracts, both for sale and for lease. And what it says is the duties of accounting and confidentiality extend beyond the agency relationship. So what that means is while you're working with your client, you might get some confidential information. And that confidentiality extends beyond your agency relationship, which terminates either at closing or when the contract terminates. And so that's just, once it terminates, you are still bound by that confidentiality, and unless of course it's required by law. So just remember that. You'll see that language in several places. The next one I want to talk about, we've touched on this before, but they've changed the location of these lines, but I just want to talk about them again because they're pretty important. The first line there is when you're buyer and seller, this is a negotiation inspection. The buyer sends over a buyer's inspection response number 1. If the seller is like, I'm not doing anything, I refuse to do anything, I reject what they're asking for, you would check off the box on line 17 that says seller rejects buyer's initial inspection response. Buyer may terminate or proceed to closing. Okay, so let's say that doesn't happen. The buyer sends over buyer's inspection response number 1. Seller doesn't agree to it. They send back a different version through their seller's inspection response number 1. Now the buyer has it, they don't agree to it, they want to kick it back over to the seller with some revisions. And if the seller is like, that's it, I don't want to, I'm not doing anything at this point and I want out of the deal, then they would check the box on line 18, seller rejects buyer's subsequent inspection response, see attached mutual release. The important thing I want you to make sure you tell all your buyers is once they send over buyer's inspection response number 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, that there is an opportunity there for the seller to unilaterally terminate the entire contract. I think that comes about because in the old forms, there was a way for a buyer to terminate, but never a way for the seller to do it. Now the seller has that option. So again, let your buyers know anytime you send over anything beyond the initial buyer's inspection response, the seller does have the opportunity to terminate. If you want to talk about any of those things, grab a cup of coffee, step in my office. I'd love to talk to you about it, or give me a call. Thanks, guys.